The story begins with the boy driving his Ferrari to school, and the name of this lucky guy, none other than Shen Yuan himself. Everyone takes pictures, shocked, and soon, the baddie steps out of the car. The guys nearby start complaining this bastard just entered school and is already dating the goddess of the second year. A guy with glasses, his eyes trembling, says that life is easy when you're born rich and good-looking. You just pick whoever you want. But his friend beside him disagrees, saying that Shen Yuan isn't just picking whoever he wants, he's picking everyone. Even the first-year girls aren't being spared. Our boy is walking beside his date, and let's just say, she's got that confident posture, chest up to the sky. The girls watching are jealous of her, wondering if they should try to win him over again. One friend, applying lipstick, tells another not to give up. Opportunities must be created. Meanwhile, the king himself is just happy. However, this luxurious life of his didn't last long. As soon as he finished high school and went to university, the fun was over. That's because his family, which ran 3 travel agencies, went bankrupt. And not only that, they were left with millions in debt. He gets to his dorm room and calls his friends to play some League of Legends. But they just tell him to scram, saying it's no fun if he's not paying for everything. Right in front of him, our boy realizes he was abandoned by this bunch of fakes the moment he ran out of money. The worst part? His parents and sister now live in a cramped little place while he has to stay in the university dorms. In this situation, all that freedom he once felt disappeared. He thought it was over, until something happened. He approaches a girl leaning against the wall. This was his current girlfriend, known as Zhou Wanting. And right away, she delivers the obvious news, folks. Their relationship is over. She simply says she hopes he finds someone who understands him better in the future. The poor guy is stunned. He says they've been together for 3 years. How can she just break up with him out of nowhere? Does she have no heart? But the girl doesn't spare him. She says their relationship was never built on pure love. Besides, if they ever see each other again, he better not call her king. She hates that kind of nickname. Or rather, she already has one foot out the door and tells him never to see her again. Shen Yuan, however, relaxes and lets out a sigh. Just as she reaches for the car door handle, saying her friend has arrived, he stops her. She asks what he wants, and he tells her to return all those expensive designer bags he bought for her. This makes her furious. She says that after 3 years of dating, the least she deserves is to keep all the junk he gave her. Shen Yuan tells her that if she doesn't want to return them, they can always go on one last adventure. But she, enraged, just tells him to go to hell. Then the guy in the car calls her king and tells her to get in. And while at it, he looks at Shen Yuan and asks if he wants a ride. At that moment, Shen Yuan realizes that when he called her king, she made a scene. But when this guy says it, she doesn't care. Still, he simply tells the guy not to worry, he lives nearby. But the man insists, saying he's in no hurry. If Shen Yuan wants a ride, all he has to do is ask. He just wants to make sure the guy gets home safe. However, Shen Yuan knows this bastard only wants to get him in the car to humiliate him. So he leans against the window and tells the guy he really is a good person, but there's no need to worry, he's just a few steps away. He opens the car door for Zhou Wanting and tells the guy to take good care of her because she's a really nice girl. The guy smirks and says not to worry, she's in good hands. And with that, Shen Yuan nods. He says he appreciates those words. Men like them should really give their best to women. That's why it's good for the guy to know that her favorite condoms are mint-flavored. Also, there's no point in buying her overly fancy lingerie. She finds it uncomfortable. And her favorite roleplay outfits, doctor and police officer. Right there, he drops all the information for the guy to realize he's a fool. However, the dude in the car isn't too happy with this free lesson and quickly slams the door before speeding off. Shen Yuan is left there thinking that the guy just doesn't understand. He was only trying to help. Besides, he hopes Wang Qing does well in life. After all, she probably thinks this was the best choice. They have nothing to do with each other anymore, so he wishes her the perfect life. Our boy is an emotionless Sigma, folks. Not only did he remain unfazed by the breakup, but he also roasted both of them and walked away unbothered. But then, by a twist of fate, the system appears. And it says that maybe everyone deserves the chance to live a perfect life. That's when the perfect life system begins to load. Shen Yuan's stats pop up minus 21 years old, 1.82 meters tall. Why am I reading this guy's stats? No idea, man. We don't even care about that. Shen Yuan stands there, confused, wondering what kind of madness is appearing in front of him. And then the system speaks. To live the perfect life, he doesn't just need money, he needs admiration from the opposite sex. His first mission is to spend money on an appropriate person of the opposite sex with an affinity score of at least 60. By doing this, he will gain more admiration. Whatever amount he spends on her, he will get back multiplied by 3. And if the affinity increased in the meantime, he would earn double. At least the math is easy to understand. He earns 3 times what he spends, and if affinity rises, well, he earns 6 times. He's standing there, glancing around nervously. And then the first victim appears. Folks, it's the trash tier counselor. But let's be real, there's nothing trash about her. She's top tier. She's impressed, saying that Shen Yuan is a real man. A guy shouldn't be suffering just because a girl broke up with him. He's standing there, all unsure, and then he notices something above her head. There's a little heart with 65 inside it. That's her affinity score. Right away, he starts believing that maybe this little system is real, and the counselor tells him to cheer up and not let this bring him down. Feeling a bit embarrassed, he thanks her while thinking that he might have just gained an advantage. Then she comments he applied for a scholarship, right? After all, the guy's broke as hell, and she says that soon it might be approved. But clearly he trusts the system way too much, because he immediately tells her not to worry about the scholarship anymore. After all, it wouldn't make much difference considering the size of his family's debt. The trashier queen tells him that if he ever has any problems in the future, he can come to her, even if it's about romance. With that, she waves and walks away. And Shen Yuan is left thinking, she fits all the system's requirements. So in theory, the money should triple. It was time to test it out. So he grabs her hand. He then thanks her for her encouraging words and asks if she'd like to go out for some bubble tea with him. And just like that, he's already investing. She was looking a little shy but happy. And right away, Shen Yuan starts doing the math. He had 87. Damn, this guy is broke. That's barely $15. If the money tripled, he should go up to 99. And that's exactly what happens. That's when he starts thinking if he just kept spending on her, the money would keep multiplying. This was the opportunity he needed to pay off his family's debts and finally get out of this miserable situation. It was time to go back to being his old self, or maybe even better. The problem? Multiplying 99 is nothing. So the first objective was to get a large amount of money and the right person to spend it on. And this madman, he already hit up loan sharks, borrowed from banks, and managed to scrape together 49,000. There's a risk he'll get killed and ruin his credit forever. But it's all or nothing. The only issue is that he has to be careful with the gift he's about to buy for his teacher. She knows he's broke, so she might refuse to accept it. 1 hour passes. He bought a Prada bag for her and spent almost all the money. The plan? Tell her it's just a cheap knockoff so she'll accept it. The only problem? He's standing outside her door knocking, and he doesn't even know if she's married. Man, the queen answers, and I'm sure she puts love into her cooking. She looks a little surprised, wondering what this lunatic is doing at her door. And then he tells her that ever since he started school, she's always taken such good care of him. Now that he realizes how precious her support is, he decided to bring her a gift. Lai Xiao immediately notices that it looks expensive and refuses to accept it. She tells him that as a teacher, it's her job to support students. He doesn't need to do this. But this smooth liar quickly reassures her, saying there's nothing to worry about. It's just a fake bag and it only costs 200. All he wants is for her to accept it as a token of appreciation. She hesitates, feeling a little guilty. It would be too rude to refuse something so simple. So she says she'll accept it, but when his birthday comes, she'll return the favor. Then suddenly, smoke starts coming from the kitchen, and she runs off. This madman, he doesn't waste a second. He just walks in. Now that she technically invited in, right? But he was already there. For him, as long as she doesn't have a boyfriend and he doesn't get killed, everything's fine. Besides, it was time to start getting that sweet system cash. And just like that, the spending is marked as successful, and his money jumps to 120,000. After paying off the loan shark so he doesn't wake up in Rio tomorrow, he'd still have 80,000 left. It's not like he, a former millionaire, isn't used to having this kind of money. But coming from rock bottom, the feeling is different. Then Lai Xiao calls him out. Why is he just standing there staring at his phone? She tells him to sit down already. Shen Yuan, though, he wants to know, where's her boyfriend? Man, and she's over there cooking and casually says, she doesn't have a boyfriend. Wait, what? This guy instantly moves in to help her take off her apron. Damn, this dude is attacking. Unfortunately, the apron is all tangled up and it's taking a lot of effort to remove it. And then, out of nowhere, another queen bursts into the house, asking what the hell this bastard thinks he's doing. This one? She's the counselor's sister. Her name's Lai Meng. And the scene she walks in on, peculiar, to say the least. While Lai Xiao tells her to come eat, our boy quickly says, I'm not doing anything. And just like that, she rushes in, hugs her sister, and introduces herself. Folks, another queen has arrived. Our boy, feeling a little awkward, gives a small wave. But Meng, she simply says she doesn't feel comfortable with him in the house. To avoid any drama, Shen Yuan decides to head out. Suddenly, he's not hungry anymore. Lai Xiao finds it weird. He was just about to sit down. But her sister tells her not to get close to him. This guy is weird. The counselor insists he's just a student. There's no way he'd try anything like that. But her sister? She's certain that this bastard was up to something suspicious. Out on the streets, Shen Yuan's biggest concern is figuring out who to spend money on next. It's hard to invest too much in Lai Xiao when they don't have a real relationship. Suddenly, someone bumps into him. When he looks to the side, the guy's hand is shaking, and Shen Yuan asks Huang Hebao what happened. Hebao says that his goddess, Fang Minhui, went to the movies with some guy named Zhang Ping. The protagonist is a little confused. He knows for a fact that this guy has never been involved with Minhui. After all, she's the goddess of a certain class and would never get with him. His friend tells him to understand the pain of losing a goddess like that. Then our boy takes a look to the side. Man, the artist of this story is a genius, because suddenly, two baddies show up. The blonde and the dark-haired one. That's Minhui, the so-called goddess. Turns out, Habao was right, and now he's all happy since she's already back. Looks like she didn't move to a hotel with Shangping. Shen Yuan, however, realizes his friend is destroying his own dignity, so he's never going to have a chance. Then something surprising happens. Above Minhui's head, there's a 72, and she's standing there with her toned abs while her friend asks if she knows that Shen Yuan just got dumped. As soon as she hears that, she remembers. Man, this Minhui girl, she used to simp for our boy. She would buy him water, juice, and all sorts of things, just to try and get closer to him. For God's sake, man, the artist is a legend. The king of angles is cameraman, and Minhui's friend, she hates Shen Yuan, saying he was already bad when he was rich and arrogant. Now that he's poor and arrogant, he's even worse. Man, our boy watches from afar as the little hearts above Minhui's head start dropping. He needs someone to spend money on, so he has to save those hearts. Right away, he turns to his friend and asks if he'd be sad if he and Minhui started dating. But his friend just laughs and tells him to stop dreaming. He's not the rich guy he used to be, driving the 4 Series BMW. Still, as long as Minhui isn't with Shangping, Haibao's already happy. The moment Shen Yuan hears that, he dashes toward Minhui. He walks up and calls her Comrade Minhui. Man, and she's tall. And just like that, her friend immediately steps in for protection. What is this, American football? She demands to know what Shen Yuan is doing here. But our boy, he's straight to the point. He asked Minhui if she's free tomorrow to grab some sushi with him. She blushes, totally confused as to why this guy is suddenly asking her out. And her friend? She already knows. He's inviting her to sing sushi. Man, that name is almost a tongue twister. A place where the bill never goes under 1,000. Shen Yuan is a sneaky guy. He quickly says that he actually wants her help picking out a gift for his little sister. He trusts her good taste since she's always given him nice presents. Ah, the bastard's a genius. With that, he just walks off saying, "See you tomorrow." Minhui feels a little unsure since she just went to the movies with Shangping. But her friend tells her she can't refuse. She was invited to sing sushi or sushi. Whatever it's called, it has sushi. This friend did a full 360. Now she's saying that Shen Yuan might be a little arrogant, but at least he's hot. Shangping might have family money, but he's ugly as hell. So she tells Minhui to go for it. She has nothing to lose by eating free sushi. And just like that, we fast forward. The couple arrives at the restaurant and all the fancy dishes are being served. And of course, the artist stops exactly at the moment when Minhui is about to sit down, for unknown reasons. Meanwhile, Minhui has found out that Shen Yuan's family is struggling financially. She tells him he shouldn't be spending money like this on her. Sitting down or about to sit down, who knows? The artist is unstoppable. But on screen, it's our boy's thoughts that appear. He realizes it's been only 2 months since the last time she gave him gifts. Now he's feeling a little awkward. Then Minhui asks, why did he suddenly invite her to dinner? And what's this about buying a present for his sister? He replies that he's always wanted to invite her to dinner. He just never found the right time. Man, the hearts start dropping. He realizes that's not the answer she wanted, and he's confused. Then he quickly says, he remembers how she always used to buy things for him, how she loved chatting with him on WhatsApp at night. The moment she hears that he remembers, the hearts start rising again. Man, this system makes life too easy. What a cheater. Shen Yuan stays calm and 40 minutes pass. He's already paying the bill. Even with a discount, it still costs 2,700. Seeing how much money he's spending, Minhui is shocked. When she went out with Shangping, the rich guy, he was stingy as hell. Meanwhile, poor Lo Shen Yuan, he's spending everything. And since her affinity started at 72 and is now at 76, he's getting a bonus reward. He's about to make over 10,000 from this meal, which is insane. Meanwhile, Minhui is thinking. The more she looks at this guy, the more she likes him. And she grabs his hand saying, it's time for us to go shopping. And as they arrive at the mall, just like in our legendary $90 billion story, he runs into his ex with a loser, and she looks furious, wondering how the hell this bastard she dumped yesterday is already with someone new. Meanwhile, the old man is even more pissed off. He had to spend a fortune just to get this Dan wanting. And yet that broke bastard is already with another girl the very next day. Our boy is inviting Minhui to help him pick out gifts. And right then, the old man calls out to him saying it's a coincidence that they're here and suggesting they take a walk together. On the other hand, Wanting is furious, demanding to know what he's doing here and who that girl is. Not really caring, Shen Yuan simply says he's there to buy some gifts for his sister. The old man is trying to humiliate him, saying that this shopping mall doesn't have discounts. And Wanting walks up to Minhui, telling her she better wake up and not get fooled by this guy. Shen Yuan steps in and asks what the hell she's talking about. When did he ever fool her? She just turns away and the old man sneers, saying Shen Yuan is embarrassing himself. A bankrupt family and he's still pretending he has money to spend in this place. Our protagonist is starting to get pissed off. At this point, he wants these two to just die together already. And that's when the system speaks up. Someone living a perfect life shouldn't be humiliated like this. He has to spend money to raise affinity with someone who likes him, and at the same time lower the affinity of those who hate him. For every 5 hatred points he generates, his money will double. Our boy was thinking about being the bigger person and not humiliating them in public, but apparently, the system won't allow it. So he just tells Manhwa, "It's time for us to go." Turns out the dude is famous at this mall. Women are already whispering. The former rich boy is back. Manhwa seems hesitant. After all, everyone knows he's broke, so he won't be buying anything. But another saleswoman rushes over and tells him to come in. Meanwhile, Manhwa is hinting for the old man to buy her the handbag. The store clerk who has to serve Shen Yuan, she's pissed off. She always wants to serve wealthy customers and leave the broke ones to the others. Manhwa is already at the cash register, obviously making the cuckold pay for everything. Meanwhile, Manhwa helps our boy pick out a handbag that represents his sister's youthful energy. The saleswoman next to him doesn't care much and just says, "That's quite expensive. It's over 50,000. While the cuck is standing there seething at wanting. He only planned to spend 20,000 on her today. But just these bags alone were already going over 100,000. However, this girl, she plays the double game. She tells him to show how rich and powerful he is, to humiliate Shen Yuan by spending a ton of money on her. The problem? That's way more money than he actually has. His credit card can't even handle it. At that moment, Shen Yuan speaks up, telling the saleswoman he wants both bags that Manhwa picked plus the accessories. The clown couple turns around in shock, and Manhwa is stunned. He's really about to spend that much. The store clerk knows he's the new bankrupt guy and is certain he can't afford it. She starts calculating the total, hands shaking, afraid to even say the number. But before she can, Shen Yuan already handed her the card. "Just ring it up." The saleswoman is thrilled. This commission is gonna be amazing. Meanwhile, Wanting is standing there fuming, wondering, how the hell is he not bankrupt? And the old man is muttering that he must have borrowed money. But our Jika Chad just smirks and tells him, "Don't focus too much on my purchases. He should be worrying about making Wani happy. Maybe even buy her another handbag. A wealthy and powerful man like him should be generous. He should spend at least 700,000 in this store. Otherwise, it'd be kind of weird." The bastard flipped the script. Now the two of them are shaking. Wanting turns to the old man, telling him, "Show me your financial power." The problem? The old man took out a huge loan just to rent that luxury car. He's not rich like that, so he's already making a phone call, trying to see if he can even afford this. Obviously, he just walks off pretending he has a very important meeting, while Wanting just glares at him, calling him the worst, and storms off. Both of them leave furious. Shen Yuan, however, he doesn't give a damn about them. He just played around because the system told him to, and because money is always good. Then he hands one of the handbags to Manhwa. She refuses, saying, "It's way too expensive." But he tells her it's a reward for putting up with all the nonsense Wanting and the clown were saying to her when she wasn't even involved in any of it. Then he hands her another bag, saying she deserves even more than this. She's a little confused though. She thought it was for his sister, but smooth as ever, he says. "Now that I think about it, I'm not sure if my sister will like it. But you picked it, so I know you like it." The truth, now that he unlocked the revenge system, he just wants to spend as much as possible and get all the money back. Manhwa, however, is afraid to accept it. She doesn't want to look like a gold digger. She starts pushing it back, saying, "I really can't." But he grabs her hands and tells her, "Don't worry, this is only the beginning. There are more gifts coming. And if you don't accept this one, I'm going to be very sad." And just like that, the mission is complete, and he gets 3 times what he spent. Meanwhile, Manhwa is staring at him, thinking she just found the perfect money tree. To keep her from getting too scared, he tells her, "It's time to head back to school. If you buy anything more today, it'd be too much." Meanwhile, she's standing there silent, staring at him. As he climbs the stairs to his dorm, he walks past his old fake friends who are talking about throwing a party. The moment they see Shen Yuan, they say, "We're gonna turn the volume up real loud, so he can hear just how much fun we're having." Poor guy is just standing there, alone in front of his door. As soon as he enters the room, his friend tells him that bastard Zhangping apparently went out with the flower of the school and is bragging about it to everyone. Shen Yuan just tells his friend to calm down because that guy's days of glory are numbered. Manhwa was going to end up with him, not with that loser. His friend tells him to wake up. Manhwa and that guy went to the movies together. Our protagonist doesn't even bother explaining anything to this guy, instead thinking, it's time to go home and help out there. At his house, there's already the famous money-making uncle. Of course, that's Yod, welcoming him back. Shen Yuan just gives him a dry greeting, while his father tells him to rest a bit because the adults are discussing things. Obviously, he stays right behind the door, listening to everything. And Yod says he needs the full payment, otherwise he can't survive either. Wait a second, that's the protagonist's mother. Man, the artist is unstoppable. He spares no one. And she tells Yod, when he needed money to open his car wash business, they helped him. So it's wrong for him to be here acting like this. Her husband tries to calm her down, but she won't back down. She says, This guy went through hard times and we helped him. Yo responds that he's already being very patient because they're family. If it were anyone else, he would have kicked them out already. His mother starts losing her mind, going off on him, until a certain someone grabs her arm, telling her to calm down. Things would only get worse. Besides, they'd find a way to get the money. That's when the system kicks in. A perfect life cannot be disturbed by debt. All the money spent paying off his father's debts would be doubled, and he'd even get a bonus of 1 million just to spend on a car. For Shen Yuan, this was perfect. He was already planning to use his earnings to pay for this anyway. Meanwhile, his mother is holding onto some jewelry, family heirlooms passed down through generations, since it's the only way to pay the debt. What she doesn't know though, Shen Yuan had already sold some of those jewels a while ago, just to buy presents for his girlfriends. At that moment, he opens his door and tells them, "There's no need to worry. I have the money." Neither of them believes him. They just tell him to stop joking around. This situation was too serious for him to be messing around. But our boy tells them he's not joking. He tells his father to check his phone notifications. The moment they look, there it was. 200,000 just dropped into his account. They demand to know where he got it from. And the smooth bastard as always, he says, "A long time ago, I bought some cryptocurrency. I forgot about it, but recently, when I needed money, I checked and saw it had gone up in value." His mother praises him, saying, "That's perfect. You saved the family." And right away, they turn to the uncle, telling him, "With this, the debt is paid. They had money now, so he better disappear." The uncle wants to say something, but his mother just tells him, "Get out." Kicked out of the house, the guy is lost. He came to collect whatever was left of this family, because he knew they were bankrupt and thought he'd never get paid. The real question now is, how did that bastard get so much money? Meanwhile, our boy just finished his mission. The 200,000 turned into 400,000, and he received the 1 million that could only be spent on a car. The problem? Of course, the only thing he paid off was the rent. There were still all the old company debts, which totaled hundreds of millions. For now, this was the best way to help. He needed to keep multiplying his money to pay off the bigger debts. He asks if his parents need more money. His mother says, "For now, no." The other bills weren't urgent. They could manage for a while. But his father, he's not so chill. He asks for at least 50,000 as a loan. Our boy just smiles, thinking, he's just like me when I used to ask for money. He remembers. His father used to be chilling in the mansion, reading a newspaper, while he would come home from school exhausted, asking for spare change. And now, tables have turned. The scene shifts back to the college where he runs into his teacher. This one, everybody pays extra attention in her class. He walks up and asks, "Are you free tonight?" He wants to invite her to a little dinner, but then he feels the death stare from behind. That's right, Meng is right there. She's not letting this slide. He realizes this woman is his nemesis, and the way she's glaring at him, hands on her hips, he decides to drop it. He just waves goodbye. "Oh wait, I just remembered I have to study. I'll be leaving now." Meng turns to Xiao and says, "See, this guy has bad intentions, even though you're his teacher." Meanwhile, Shen Yuan is thinking, "Man, I'm sweating like crazy. Running around all day submissive like this. Terrible." Back in the day, he was riding around in his Ferrari, hands on the wheel, handling important business. That's when he remembers. He received 1 million, only for buying a car. And right away, he calls Manhwa to join him on this adventure. Her friend immediately says, "If you're going back to the dorm for a one-on-one adventure, let me know, so I can leave." This friend really makes life easy for our boy. She's legendary. Manhwa, however, tells her, "Don't say such nonsense. We're not together." But the friend insists. She's so lucky to have found a guy like this. She already knows what's going to happen between them. And just so you know, these censorships, they're not for me, okay? That's just how the story came. The artist is extremely talented, but he has limits on his creative expression on this platform. And now, at the car dealership, our boy arrives with Manhwa, and the salesman immediately greets him. It looks like the simp knows Manhwa and wants to know what she's doing there. She greets him, "Hey, Mr. Kim. This guy went to the same school as her and was always hitting on her, obviously. Not that I blame him." He walks up and wants to know, "Who's the loser standing next to her?" "Shen Yuan. Nice to meet you." Now the guy wants to know which car he's interested in. Shen Yuan says he wants to see the M9. "Man, if I'm not mistaken, that's a BMW." The salesman knows the car costs 600,000, and he's already dreading showing it to this broke kid, because he's sure he won't buy it. At the same time, it might be worth it, since he'd get to stare at Manhwa the whole time. Maybe she finally realized he's an amazing salesman who makes over 10,000 a month. So he gets closer to chat with her, saying, "It's been a while since we talked." But Manhwa, tall as ever, cuts him off. She tells him that unfortunately she has other plans and isn't very interested in talking. Before this clown can react, though, Shen Yuan calls out to him. He asks, "Can I take it for a test drive?" The guy is fuming. That bastard just interrupted his flirting session. To be honest, though, you were already rejected, man. Your flirting wasn't lasting long anyway. Shen Yuan may have been broke for a short while, but he's been rich for his entire life, and he's sick of this loser not treating him properly. So he goes straight to the reception desk and asks for someone who actually knows how to sell cars. Man, if she didn't show up to sell a car, I'd say she was prepared for other jobs, but let's move on. Her name? Chen Yuan, a top-tier salesperson at the dealership. She walks out asking, "How can I help you?" And our boy? He's standing there stunned. Fifi, the man got flashbanged by her beauty. Meanwhile, the original salesman is panicking. His coworker walks up and asks, "Why'd you leave that kid? You're gonna lose the sale." But the guy just shrugs. There's no way that broke kid is buying an M9. He's just showing off for the girl. Meanwhile, inside the car, Ken Ned is explaining everything to Shen Yuan. But our guy, he's not listening to a word. Because, even compared to Manhwa, this girl is dangerous. The problem? He knows that some female salespeople at car dealerships sometimes sleep with customers just to hit their sales targets. So he's not interested. Chen Yuan asks, "So do you like the details of the car?" But he just says, "I don't really care. I just want to know you have one available right now, because I want to drive it home." She's confused. Most guys want to test drive like 36 different cars and spend hours before making a decision. She apologizes, saying, "Right now, we don't have one here. Cody can call another dealership and bring one in this week." Shen Yuan says, "That's fine, but make it as fast as possible." She tells him, "To speed up the process, you need to leave a 50,000 deposit." He tells her, "Don't worry about it." And just like that, she's already walking down the hall. While the clown salesman wants to know how the sale went, she simply says, "It was easy. He bought it." Another salesman overhears and freaks out. Impossible. You only talked to him for 2 minutes. Meanwhile, Minhui's simp is convinced. That guy's a fraud. As soon as it's time to actually pay, he'll disappear. But Chen Yuan doesn't think so. She tells them, "I don't think that's the case. He said he's going to pay everything up front." And at that moment, the clown salesman realizes he really messed up. Meanwhile, Chen Yuan is already thanking our boy. She tells him, "If you ever need a ride or a favor, just send me a message." But Minhui, she's competitive. She quickly says, "No, he doesn't need your number. Besides, we're taking a taxi back." Chen Yuan realizes she just made the girlfriend mad and gets awkward. Out on the streets, Shen Yuan asks Minhui if she wants to grab something to eat. But he notices she's a little annoyed, and he's sure she's jealous. He tells her to let it go. That was just a customer-saleswoman relationship. But Minhui says, "I'm not so sure about that. You look really happy talking about the car details." Shen Yuan apologizes, saying it's just a habit of his to pay close attention to what people say, which is a total lie, by the way, since he didn't listen to a single word. And that's when Minhui realizes she's acting like a crazy person. She doesn't even have anything official with him, so there's no reason to be jealous. But she knows his big spender style attracts attention, so she needs to lock him down. I don't know what karate technique she's going to use to immobilize him, but she's determined. Meanwhile, our boy tells her, "Let's grab some food, then we'll go to the mall to buy some presents." But she says, "No need. You already spent a ton on me yesterday. I don't need that much stuff." But our boy, he plays this psychological card. He tells her, "You can't go out 7 days in a row with the same bags. You need at least one for each day of the week." Besides, spending money on her was great, because it raised affinity and doubled his money. At the restaurant, he asks her, "Do you want something hot or cold to drink?" She freezes. She wants to know, is this bastard asking if she's on her period? Apparently in some Chinese game, if you ask this question, and she chooses hot, it means she's on her period. If she chooses cold, it means the coast is clear. She says, "I'll have a cold drink." Seems like that's exactly what he wanted to know, because he says, "Well, I'll have to be more direct. I've been holding back for 2 months, and it's time to let it out." A while later, walking through the city, he's already spent a fortune. Bags, pendants, necklaces, everything. And Minhui is just standing there thinking, he's too nice. He's already spent 80,000 on me in just a few days. What our boy? He's already got 2 million in his account, since he spent all that money on the car, and she liked it. He got 1.6 million back, and he's straight to the point. He tells her, maybe tonight isn't a good night to go back to the dorm. And if he's ready to play, she's ready to score. She gives him a little smirk. 30 minutes later, in room 888, our boy is in the shower. Meanwhile, she has no idea how she's gonna explain to her friend why she's not coming back. Shen Yuan is American bro. He walks in and says, "It's time for football," and he's going for the touchdown. Man, 30 minutes have passed. This guy is a demigod. He lasted that long. And Shen Yuan says, "That was a great match. Unfortunately, you were also a top-tier player. Now I'm a little exhausted." But she's got energy for days. She tells him, "It's time to start the second half." Our boy begs, "Can I get 30 minutes?" Too late.